This week's episode of the Good Dude, Good Dad podcast is brought to you by BioPro. Use the link down below plus code GDGD upon checkout, along with Hidden House Coffee. Go to hiddenhousecoffee.com and use code GDGD on your checkout to receive a discount. Now, enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Good Dude, Good Dad podcast. I'm Jordan.
I'm Ben.
And we have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Hollow.
That's right.
I was going to let you introduce yourself.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, introduce yourself then. I don't know.
I just looked at you.
I'm Hollow.
Perfect.
You guys have seen a Hollow on a previous episode we had you on. You're our second repeat guest.
Come on.
Yeah. I think
Dude, I
George
feel
is the
honored.
only other person that's been on more than once.
George, I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
We do have the one that we haven't done with George in a while. It's called the Dudes?
The dudes.
Oh,
You know, they
yeah.
just
So
come
now
and
ours has to be the dads.
the
Hey,
dads.
come on.
Let's go.
I like
you and
it.
George can have a friendly competition. And
All
who
right.
gets to...
I like it. I'm down. Except I don't think I could beat George in anything.
That's not true. I think you guys
He doesn't know how to
each
take
have your own
pictures.
stuff.
That's true.
Or
Yeah.
video.
Or video.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right,
Or-
George.
Lead worship.
There you go.
There you go.
I'm rusty. I'm rusty in
Or-
that department.
When was the last time you've led worship?
I'm leading Sunday for the first time in I think almost 2 years
Where?
in Hemet.
In Hemet.
They worship in Hemet, so I'm
What?
told. God's
people
there,
there?
too. yes. Yeah, we're going to Hemet, and an old friend of ours asked us to come out. We're like, we don't really, we haven't done that in
Yeah.
a long time. We worship, we still
Yeah.
worship. We haven't led worship, and so yeah, we're going out Sunday, and
Tell them how many songs they want you to play.
I think it's like 19 songs.
Are you serious?
Yes, it's a lot.
Do all they do is worship? They just...
I think
That's
it's like a worship night.
Oh, okay.
But we didn't know that. We
Oh,
just
so
thought like, hey, like, so you want 3 or 4 in the front, maybe 1 or 2 at the end. They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, 19. I was like,
19 songs.
all right.
Yeah.
So had to like blow the dust off my guitar and
Nice.
still in tune.
Is it just you and Grace?
It's just me and Grace
Dude.
and
let's
Jesus.
The
Yeah.
whole time, no other band.
No, just
Members.
us, dude.
That's a lot.
And I have no calluses anymore. They're
Oh, yeah.
100% gone.
You're going to be dead.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you'd be
dead.
smoked the next day.
Yeah, these fingers are going to be just purple and blue.
Did you ever do
So-
that there was like that trick that you put like super glue on your fingertips?
I
and do-
tried. It just
I
didn't
tried that
feel
once.
right.
Yeah, no, it was like a nightmare.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine in high school that grew out all his nails to
Oh.
do the plucking thing.
Oh, that's
And
kinda
then one
gross.
day he showed up for school.
Yeah.
And he got acrylics. He was like so into it, and everyone just roasted him. And he was like, "All right." And the next day they were gone.
They were gone.
He's like, "It wasn't worth it." Yeah. So, but yeah, they're gone. We'll see. See how it goes. I'm ready.
I felt more like a bass that you just did.
Ukulele.
Yeah, slept in the
So
bass.
I'm still in Maui right now, playing the ukulele.
Oh man, it's been a long time since we have had a guest, and we just kind of talked, and we were talking about today. We're gonna actually talk about a specific topic first, and then just see where we go. But yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
And he brought a camera for us, which was also nice.
And he has his own podcast called Lightning Rounds.
That's right.
I'm doing a little shout out.
Come on.
Yeah.
It is
They're not consistent.
It's a bi-yearly podcast. We really want to keep you like thirsty for it. So
They're like, we'll see you next week. And you're like, is my podcast Spotify not working?
That's-
And you're like, no,
that's
they
the
just didn't.
running gag is every time it's like, welcome back. We're serious this
Yeah.
time. And like 6 months has passed.
Yeah.
But new episode dropping, I believe, next year. No, I think we got one coming like 3 days away. But
Oh, that's funny.
yeah.
They're like that toxic masculine boyfriend back in the day that just,
We are. Baby, I only want you. I swear I'm going to
this
change.
time is
This
different.
time it's real. And yeah, we're really bad at the consistency. Well, we have one guy in Texas, myself, and then another guy who's full-time ministry, and it's just different time zones. It's tough. But Jordan and my mom are faithful listeners, and it's been
do.
It's been good. It's been good.
I actually think I have listened to almost every episode.
Come on, dude.
Yeah.
That's I'm gonna
That's
get you a
pretty
shirt
solid.
when we make shirts.
You should. You guys should make
we
shirts.
actually just buy a Target
like-
black shirt. And
I just
put a
like the
sticker.
dramatic music you guys put in like random
yeah.
spots. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
it feel a little more legit.
Who does it? You?
Zach.
Zach does all of it?
Yeah, Zach does all the raising 3 boys, and he just locks himself literally in his closet. Like if you watch the episodes, there's like clothes behind him, and he's in his closet. And yeah, it's
actually
pretty
fantastic.
funny. So every time we record, like we're in my office, it's all like moody and nice, and we
Yeah.
have the mics, and he's just like you see like clothes behind him, but we get it done. We get it done.
I like that episode you guys did about like the different stories of Noah.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. How like every culture has their own.
There's like 120 different cultures that have the same story about a man in a boat when the world flooded.
Yeah.
Dang.
Like Hawaii has their own
Hawaii
as well.
has their own.
And the guy's name was Nua.
Interesting. I didn't
And
know
when
that.
the missionaries came, they were like, "Oh, dude, yeah, we have a story. His name's Nua." They're like, "How did you hear
How
about
did you know that
this?"
story?
Or is it still Noah but with the Hawaiian accent?
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
exactly.
Noah. What's up, bro?
That's
some
probably
grinds,
literally how
Noah.
it is, actually. They probably don't change it.
Yeah. So it's wild. But yeah, we have a fun time. We just talk and see where the wind takes us.
What you doing?
Yeah.
Hydration one in there?
I-
Can?
I'm colorblind.
Oh, shoot.
That's another fun fact about Hollow. He
Climb
is
on
a photographer that is colorblind. Are they cold or are they still warm?
They're warm.
Oh, that sucks.
I wanted like the hydration or the lavender one.
I wanted a yerba mate so bad when I got here, and I almost grabbed one from. I was like, nah, I don't need one. We'll have one here. And I got here, I was like hot. And I was like, oh, that's gross.
What a bummer. Someone was messing with our space.
That's all right. We're looking at doing a new space. We'll see. So today we're gonna talk about toxic masculinity,
Versus,
traditional masculinity.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to sound, or I'm not going to speak for them. I'm going to sound a little silly because like when we were thinking about something to talk about, and I don't even know why I thought of it that day I texted you guys. I heard, I was in one of the coffee shops and I just had heard a girl say toxic masculinity or something like that. That was it. That's all I heard. I
When
didn't
she
hear
saw
anything.
you,
No. I was, like, I always tell people baristas are like sober bartenders.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in the shop, like half of the time I specifically act as if I'm not listening.
Yeah.
Like on purpose.
yeah.
So I can listen.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I just heard her say toxic masculine. I don't know if it
Yeah.
was I don't know what it was about, but I was like, oh, okay. And then we've had episodes about it.
Yeah.
And obviously it's like a topic that gets thrown around, I feel like every like couple months, but like traditional masculinity versus this toxic masculinity culture, we thought it would be cool to kind of just talk about that and our perspectives on each of that. And I think Jordan's going to read what the world's definition of this is.
What's actually kind of funny is the definition itself, because I was like reading it as I pulled it up. But let's go through. Toxic masculinity refers to the harmful aspects of traditional masculine norms that negatively impact individuals and societies. This encompasses behaviors and attitudes associated with dominance, aggression, emotional suppression, and misogyny.
Misogyny.
I never knew how to do that word. That's probably actually a good place to end it. This concept highlights how certain expressions of masculinity can be detrimental to men and those around them. I probably should have read this before. We'll just leave it at that. I'm actually kind of reading this as I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, this is interesting.
Can you
I'll throw it up on the screen so people can hopefully read it themselves.
do another favor and just copy and paste that into ChatGPT and let's have it give us its summary
Of the
feel
whole
like-
thing? Oh, jeez.
I did that.
Well, that's,
Oh, you did
this
it.
is.
I
okay.
compared
You
them.
can probably read better too.
No, I was homeschooled too.
Maybe I should take that. I'm just kidding.
Healthy versus toxic.
Yeah.
They battled them. So healthy shows strength and emotional intelligence versus toxic believes emotions except anger are weakness. Healthy protects and provides without control Toxic thinks dominance equals respect. The other one takes responsibility and leads by example versus sees aggression as the only way to solve problems, respects women and others as equals, objectifies women or sees them as lesser, builds brotherhood and healthy support versus says real men don't cry or man up, can be soft and nurturing without shame versus fears being seen as feminine or weak.
Oh, shoot. That's a great thing. Can I leave that out? I'm going to ask you to go.
I get all my answers from here.
No, that was actually a great.
We were just talking about that. We use ChatGPT a lot for stuff.
It's a good helper.
It is a good helper.
Good helper.
I don't think you should outsource that.
It's a helper when you know how to use it.
Right.
Yeah.
Reread that the first one.
Shows strength and emotional intelligence versus believes emotions except anger are weak.
Let's go from there, because I think we've had some guests on that I don't know if I would fully agree with their definitions on certain things, and that's obviously really great about what we have and what we're doing, because we want all perspectives to be seen and heard. But I think in today's culture specifically, I don't know, at least like just with like the climate of society since post-COVID to now, right? Like let's just go last 5 years. And you see how heightened everything is in all areas, whether it's like the masculinity component, which is obviously what we're going to talk about, but how it's almost right now, I feel like it's tapered off a little bit right now compared to, several months ago. But if you're like a tough guy or perceived as this tough guy, or like a patriotic guy, or somebody that likes to go to a gun range or do martial arts or all these things, you're kind of like automatically put into this, oh yeah, he's like a toxic man. And I think that's what caught my attention when I heard that girl say that. It's just like, what the heck is like a toxic man really? Like, what really is that? And I think that first definition is actually pretty powerful for just like what Jordan and I have been talking about a lot lately with different guys, is emotions are seen and perceived and conditioned in our heads to be seen as weak. Right. So like that saying everything else emotional outside of anger is perceived as weak.
Right.
Which I think is just so bizarre. Like I don't know what else to say about that part, but
yeah, it seems like I wish actually more people would read that definition, because it felt like people are just taking. I mean, it's human nature to take things and try to lump it into categories in your brain so that you can associate it like with certain things. Like it's just like simple word association. But I feel like there was almost a hijacking of the word masculine, and it was just automatic. Everything was dumped into toxic masculinity because no one actually knew the real definition. No one bothered to take the time to actually look up what toxic masculinity was. And granted, I think there was a cultural shift in masculinity too, from like the way that our parents were raised and their parents were raised. Like if you looked at my grandpa, right, World War II veteran, never talked about his experiences, kind of a hard ass, like didn't show emotion. By definition, now they would consider that toxic masculinity. Still a loving man, still worked his butt off, still cared for his family, just didn't know how to express it properly. And then you have our parents that softened from that and turned into a little more present, a little bit better, still a lot of, like this is my way or the highway kind of a thing. And then you're having this next generation of dads and men and fathers that have even improved upon that, to where I think that we are starting to actually hit that, where it was saying the verses, hitting more of the now a proper, I don't even want to say traditional masculine, a proper definition of masculinity now. But if you are anything other than passive in an approach to like when someone says something, you automatically get tossed in where you're being a toxic masculine man. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm standing up for my values. I'm standing up for what I believe in. I'm actually being the definition of masculine. We just want to lump everybody in the category.
Right.
And I think this was actually a great topic, because I think it's a great opportunity for because I know we have some women listen to our podcast too.
There's a good amount.
A
I was
good amount.
surprised, actually.
That can actually go, oh, okay. So this is like, because I've had women come up to us and be like, oh man, yeah, I love this. I want my husband to listen to this so that he knows the definition of a good dude, good dad, and models what you guys are pitching basically to everyone. But I'm like, okay, well, you need to know the definition too, because if he's taking on his role as a leader in the household, and you're just constantly saying, now you're just being toxic, and it's like, well, no, you're cutting out his legs from under him, while he's actually trying to be the man that you want him to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Speaking to that, before you jump in real quick, I feel like in today's culture,
Yeah.
what you just said of being a leader of the home can be seen as, depending on who, but I would say because of how freaking polarizing the world is, us three sitting in this room, if we're saying right now that we want to be the leaders of our home,
Right.
we're automatically, by a certain genre of people, gonna just get thrown into this.
100%.
He's definitely a toxic man. Like, I feel sorry for his wife.
Yeah.
Like what? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's funny. I think we label so many things that there's a simpler label that could kind of cover a lot of things, and that's healthy versus unhealthy.
Yeah, I like
Instead
how
of like,
did that. Yeah,
hey, this is toxic, this is not this. It's like, well, you have to look at the whole story, the picture. I look at me being a leader in my home. It's, yes, I'm leading, but because my wife wants me to.
yeah.
She wants me to be a leader.
So does that make her less of a woman?
No, dude. I mean, it's funny. I look at a lot of things we do, and I always tell people, because they're like, oh, like, you run your own business. I'm like, well, we run a business. And
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, but you're the guy. I'm like, you're automatically labeling these things.
Yeah.
I couldn't do without my wife. And I know a lot of guys are going to say that, I couldn't do this without my wife, but 100%, I'm colorblind. Like, I can't edit. So
Quite literally.
I literally cannot. Grace, I can't do this without you. And I just feel like so many times we just label things, and you have to find that healthy balance in everything. And when it comes to leading, it's not like we're just, commandeering the family and saying, no, like you said, my way or the highway. But every position needs a leadership. That leader doesn't automatically become the bad person. In owning a business, you need a manager. The manager isn't just, oh, he's the manager, he sucks, he's this. It's like, no, you always need that point person.
Yeah.
If you've ever been camping and you have 6 people and everyone's trying to play chief, it never goes well.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to do this hike. Oh, no, let's do this. Oh, well, it's time for dinner. You always need that point person. And so that doesn't mean you don't have help in there. I feel like my wife is, my biggest help. When I can't make a decision, I can rely on her to make that decision as well. And so I don't think there ever is. It's just like it's a flowing change where, yes, I may take the role of leader, but I need my wife.
Yeah.
And she's going to take that role sometimes. And every role in the family has its changes where, I could try and be a man for certain things, and she's going to handle that situation so much better than I can. When it comes to nurturing, I saw a shirt at Hidden House the other day. It was a lifeguard shirt. And I was like, oh, guy's a lifeguard, but it just said rub some dirt on it. And like, if that's not how most dads are. Like, that's why we need women. And we're just wired different.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm off
No,
on a
I like
tangent
that.
now.
I'm going to kind of take it and run with it for a little bit. So like, there's Caitlin and I had this great conversation. We were out in Reading, and we got back from our trip, and my parents were like, hey, we're going to take the kids for one more night. You guys go out on a date. Like, here you go. They like offered to pay for it. And Caitlin wanted sushi. So like we have an actual like weird, Reading has bomb sushi. There's like there's this one spot. It's called Raw. It's really good. And
Do
so
they use trout?
I know.
Is it
Huh?
raw trout?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
I ain't trying to eat.
It's called,
I ain't trying to eat sushi.
Dude, it's so good. And like, it's a really cool setting too. Like the place is actually awesome.
Okay.
So we were excited to go. We were going to go, and they were closed. They had like a private event. So she was like, oh, I really want sushi. So I was like, okay. So we looked up a couple other places. Super sketch, right?
Psychos.
Yeah, we're like super sketch. I was like, babe, they're and the whole time I'm like, hey, there's this really cool spot. It's called Mosaic. It's like right on the river. It's rad. We should go. And so we go through this whole thing, and then finally we hit the last sushi spot, and she like looks at it. She's like, let's just go to Mosaic. I was like, good. That's where I wanted to go this whole time. But, you know, and she was like, she literally looked at me. She goes, why didn't you just take me there? And I was like, and we had this great conversation. She was like, why didn't you just take me there? And I was like, well, because you started off this conversation by saying, dang, I'm really craving sushi. I want sushi. She's like, yeah, but why didn't you just go, babe, I'll buy you a poke bowl when we get home.
Yeah.
And just take me to the place that we should have gone in the first place. And so we actually playfully went back and forth for a while. I was like, have you ever tried leading you sometimes where you don't want to go?
Yeah.
And we went back and forth, and I was like, okay, how about this? I'll do a better job of sometimes just being like, this is where we're going. Mm-hmm. And you do a better job of when I do pull that card, listening and following. And it was like this fun little dynamic because it's funny. I had heard another podcast for a guy that we had on, and he was like, yeah, you just need to tell her, like, they don't want to make decisions. He gets a little extreme sometimes. He's like, they don't want to make decisions. They just want you to lead. Like for dinner, you just say, hey, this is what we're doing for dinner, and then just make it happen. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't. I mean, maybe that works for some people. I was like, that doesn't work I have a full-blown Italian wife. If I did that all the time,
for the three of us in this room all the time.
Yeah. Dude.
Yeah.
Like, she'd punch me in the face probably once or twice, you
for
know?
Sure.
So I think there's this, that being said, there is a masculine man, and leading your family is very nuanced, and we're not going to get it right all the time. Like that ridiculous story of us bantering back and forth about like, I'm trying to lead. Well, you need to let me lead. Well, I want to be led. It's nuanced, and we're not always going to get it right. And there's times like everybody wants to make everything very black and white. There's times where I might cross the line and bounce into toxic masculinity. You know, like my son fell, and Caitlin was like, hey, you need to be a little more empathetic. And I was like, well, he also needs to. I know he's not really all that hurt. He needs to man up a little bit. And she's like, he's 4. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm trying to teach him to be tougher too. And we went back and forth, and I was like, hey, I was actually probably wrong in this situation, but there are moments where I have to teach him to be tougher because life isn't going to be kind to him either. So he's got to learn both sides of the fence. But yeah, it's not always black and white. It's a little bit gray sometimes. Hey guys, this is Jordan with Good Dude, Good Dad. Quick break. I just want to thank our sponsors. The first one being BioPro. The link is down below. Use code GDGD. Ben and I have been on for about a month now, and it goes under your tongue in the morning. There's a night version to help you sleep a little bit better. But I tell you what, I get home, and for the first time in a while, I actually have some energy to hang out with my kids, to play, to get my workout in, and the best part of all, to hang out with my wife at the end of the night and not feel utterly exhausted. So go check out the link down below. Next, Hidden House Coffee. Go to hiddenhousecoffee.com, get a bag or 2 or 10, and use the code GDGD for a discount on that. I want to say thank you to Rode for all this amazing equipment and the sound quality. And last but not least, go check out gooddudegooddad.com. Get yourself some sweet merch. Sign up from our emails. And please like, share, and subscribe. It's all because of you guys that we are growing. We're excited to bring on more guests and serve you the best that we can. So remember, be a good dude, be a good dad. Get back to the show.
I think about this topic, I think the thing I hate the most is that, and it's not just this topic, but it's pretty much every quote unquote controversial topic in the freaking planet today. But it's like, just because the three of us in this room right here might have very similar belief systems and in how we are trying to conduct ourselves, I would say like the three of us are probably pretty like on par for the most part, right? Mm-hmm. But then that can be just taken and twisted and manipulated, and all of a sudden, again, you're just labeled as this guy. And it's like, dude, you guys are, I just hate that we live in a time where it's okay to, or it's no longer okay to live in a different way, but still be able to coexist. Mm-hmm. It's like, either you believe what I believe, or I freaking hate you. I'm going to burn your place down. I'm going to cancel you. Yeah. I'm going to do all these things. And I feel like for me, it's getting like harder and harder to just like keep my mouth closed with certain things. Mm-hmm. And it's just so sad that like, that we even have to now identify and label and showcase to the world what a man is, right? Like what a man is, like the toxic side, the healthy side, the masculine side, the not as masculine guy. Like who freaking cares? Like what a man is. Like a man is this thing. And obviously, yes, there's that umbrella underneath it with millions of different avenues of what kind of man you can be. But the fact that we're living in a time now where like these kids don't even know what like a man is kind of crazy. And I think that's one of the things for me on this entire topic of masculinity that's just such a trip, is that, you know, we're now having to reclaim and restake, like we were saying with Adam, you know, who, yeah, like we could just, you have to like talk about what it is to be a masculine man. And why does it have to be a masculine man? Why can't you just be a man?
Yeah.
Like, why can't a man be all these different things? Like, that's what my definition of like a true healthy man is, right? It's how Tim Arrigo said it, like being a multi-dimensional man is what I feel like our definition should be and what we should strive to be as men, right? Like being multi-dimensional. I think it's literally the best thing I've heard on this podcast, top 5, because he said it in a way where it was just so helpful, I think. And it shows an empathetic side, but it also shows a discerning side to like what it is to be a man. And then it also shows his strength side, where he basically said, you know, if my daughter or my son falls and gets hurt, I should be able to get on their level and empathize with them. If my family is threatened or I'm with somebody that is threatened, I as a man should be able to assert myself in that situation. And if needed, you know, either 1, diffuse the situation, or 2, you know, obviously protect in that situation. I should be able to do that. 3, it's like I should be able to sit with my dying mother and, you know, have tears go down my face and be able to show those feelings of compassion and hurt and still be able to be a quote unquote man. I think it is literally like the best thing I've heard in the sense of like this topic specific is how did we even get to the point where we're having these definitions and having ChatGPT give us the definition of like healthy versus not, you know?
Yeah.
I just spewed a lot of stuff out, but I think my whole point in saying that is like, as I'm growing as a man, specifically just like this last season of life, and like a lot of the guests that Jordan and I have had and the conversations we've had, and I feel like every time it makes me like examine myself and be like, oh shoot, like I can work on this, I can work on that. But I feel like, dude, just like the last year of our guests like has made me a better man. And the 100%. Thing I'm discovering is it's like I do need to learn to be more empathetic. I do. Versus before, Jordan kindly, before we started recording, told me, I guess I did know what toxic masculinity was when I was in my early to mid 20s. Because I literally was like joking around with the guys before we hit record. I was like, dude, I don't even know what that even means. Like, because it's not in my like daily life, right? Like I don't get home and I'm like, yo, Devin, take my shoes off, you know, like.
I mean, you do, but you do in a joking way.
Like, or I'll be like,
where my food at?
Like in a joking way, you know, like if I said that in real life, I'd be like, hey guys, can I stay at your house for like a year? But it's like, it's just not in my, it's not in my life, right? Like I don't, like I've never once heard you be like, or do something where I'm like, okay, that's a little questionable, you know, or I've never been with you guys and like watched how you've interacted with your family, and I'm to a point where I'm like, oh, that's kind of toxic. Like, it's just not in my daily life. Because if it was, 1, I probably wouldn't hang out with that individual, just to be truthful, right? Yeah. Like, and 2, if I was ever around it, I would 1,000,000% say something, even though it might not be my place. Sometimes I'd probably be, yo, chill out, dude. Like, it's not how you talk to your wife, you know? And it might sound naive and dumb, just like I feel like I've said this really recently in some of our other episodes where I feel naive and dumb because I didn't or wasn't aware of a situation. And it's not that I'm trying to turn a blind eye. It's just like, if it's not in your life or an example in your life, when this toxic masculinity thing was thrown around, I was like, what the heck is a freaking toxic man? I mean, there's, for lack of better terms, a-hole like of a man, right? Or that guy that you see being rowdy or that needs to be like the dominant one or needs to like, yeah, that's, I guess you can throw in as toxic, but I would just label that as a douchebag. you know, like versus.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is. And I like, in all joking, when I said you in your early 20s, but that's exactly, and I can say that because that's who I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
You know, like that actually, like if I was in my early 20s now and I was doing the same thing I was then, you know, I would have been labeled as a toxic masculine man.
Yeah.
Where you just, and I think it was Adam that actually, he brought up, or he used that in his definition. He was like, there's 3 different types of males.
That's who it was. I was trying to think about.
And one of them, and Adam, it was Adam and Allred, and he was, one of them was just that young, immature. But you see it in, I hate to say this, you see it in nature too. It's that young lion that thinks he's the dude.
Yeah.
And wants to act tough. You know, you see it, young bucks, like legitimately, like that's why you call them young buck, you know?
Yeah.
Where they just go around and they think they know what toughness is, and you're like, look, you don't have enough life experience under your belt yet to really fully understand. Right. And part of it, to be honest, part of it's just something I think there's some young men that can learn from it and not have to go through it. I think there's some that have to go through being a little bit of a, you know, toxic man and take life's licks and figure out what that means. You know, I was hanging out with a buddy. I had a buddy call me up yesterday. I was actually joking with you guys earlier. Everybody was out of the house. I finished doing what I needed to do. He was like, hey, I'm up at a bar up the street playing pool. You want to come play pool with me? So I went up, and it was like him and his buddy. I went to Fire Academy with one. The other dude was a paramedic, so that's what I used to do. So we were able to, you know, we do our little bonding thing. And by definition, the last time we'd hung out a few years ago, my buddy he would be more on what people would label as a toxic masculine man. Just the way, and it could have been, you know, one, you're hanging with your bros and you talk a little different sometimes when you're like that. But I watched the change in him on how he was talking about topics, the way he was talking about what he wants his life to look like. That we were talking about me and my kids and how I was raising them, and he was asking me questions on like how I was raising Hudson and Harper, and like he was asking thought-provoking questions. He was his buddy brought up therapy, and they were talking about how like they both have been going to therapy and it's helping them out, and he was talking about how firefighting is like this adrenaline addiction, that's what he likes about it, and that's why certain people are drawn to it. Basically, I was very impressed with his maturity, and I was like sitting there and thinking about it after you gave us the topic, and I was thinking about that conversation I just had with those 2 young guys that are not married. They make decent money. They're both in good shape. They travel around a lot, you know, and I was like, he just needed to go through that season.
Yeah.
You know, now he's had some heartbreak under his belt. Now he's had some life experience under his belt. Now he's had these lessons that he didn't learn up until this point under his belt. And now it's defining, oh, that's not the kind of man I want to be. I want to be this kind of man. And I remember that moment for me was right before, you know, Caitlin stepped back into my life and we ended up getting married, is I was like so done with the man that I was that I was like, God, like, what do I do? Like, I honestly don't know what to do. And I remember this phrase, like, focus on being the kind of man that the kind of woman you would want to marry. And that was like my whole focus. And now that's what I tell like dudes that are not married now. I'm like, focus on being the kind of man that you would want, like the kind of woman that you would want to marry. And you'll probably get a lot closer to that. You know, you're going to get a lot closer to that bullseye. So some of this toxic masculinity is just young men that need to grow up. Yeah. And some are just guys that just never grew up out of that phase.
Yeah.
And those
or some are just pricks.
Yeah. No, but I think a big part of it too is just the example that they've been given.
Yeah.
You know, nurture versus nature. I mean, a lot of that is, you know, what example are we setting for our kids, for them to grow up to be? And I mean, the coolest thing, I've been working out for 6 weeks, I think, maybe 8. This is the longest I've ever.
We're gonna go 8.
We're gonna go 8. Yeah, We're gonna go 8. It's the longest I've ever like faithfully stuck to something. And my daughter, she's like, "Wow, Daddy, you're getting buff." And I was like, that was like the biggest compliment as a dad, because just a year ago, she'd pick up a dumbbell. She's like, "Where's this go? This is Mommy's." And I'm like, dang it, the dumbbell belongs to mom and not dad, because Grace works out. And so it was such a compliment. And I was like, all right, she sees this as like daddy's working out, daddy's strong or getting stronger, hopefully. But like setting this example, and not that that's masculinity, working out.
It's part of being masculine,
but it is part of
sure.
it. But setting an example is like, daddy wants to lead, daddy wants to be healthy, daddy wants to be strong, and setting that example for my kids. And it goes in so many ways where I've apologized to my kids before on the way I've spoken to Grace. And like, hey, daddy reacted wrongly. That's not how, in my case, a Christian, should act, or any human. I think morally, everyone could look at this and say, yeah, that wasn't the proper way to react.
Yeah.
And so I want to set this example, because then I'm not at fault if my son chooses to be this crazy kid in the future. I can say, well, at least I set an example. He didn't learn it from me.
Yeah.
And that's, when you talk about good dude, good dad, I think it's like, that's the example I want. I want to be a good dude, so I can therefore be a good dad, so I can raise the next generation of a masculine man.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my buddy yesterday about it. Like, what does it mean to be masculine? And the problem is, it's kind of like this magnet. And I feel like it's this masculine magnet. And not only does it attract the things that are good, but it's also kind of sucks in the bad. Anything that's masculine is now bad.
Yeah.
Like everything attaches to, masculine, it's toxic. It's like, wait, no, it's not. And one of the definitions he gave, and I thought it was solid, is being a masculine man is being meek and having that power under control.
Yeah.
And not just, I'm a man, so boom, kick my way in, make it happen. But knowing like, okay, I have the power, but I know when to use it.
For sure.
And I know how to use it. And that's kind of something that stuck with me. Like, okay, like just because I have the means to do it doesn't mean you always have to do it.
Yeah.
And as a man, that is kind of a tough trait.
Yeah.
Because we're problem solvers, right? Our wife says something, I'm just feeling this way. Like, oh, what you need to do is this. And they're like, no, I just want you to listen.
For sure, yeah.
And as a masculine man, as a husband, sometimes I have to, we're Swiss Army knives. We have all the tools to fix everything. And sometimes it's okay to just close it and say, all right, I'm doing my best as a masculine man right now by just not being the tool to fix it, but just being
not being the tool.
Not being the tool.
Like for sure in those moments.
100%.
I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna say that same thing.
Don't be a tool.
It's true though. Jimmy and I had this conversation yesterday about how, as a proud leader in my home, that I do try to fix things too much sometimes. And one of the biggest lessons I learned about a year and a half ago in my relationship with Devin is me trying to fix it was actually part of what was making it worse, And so what I did, because I have matured as a man, instead of getting all butthurt and being like, oh my God, like she's not letting me be the man. Like I literally pulled her aside one day and I said, hey, I'm going to choose to no longer bring this topic up. It's not me not caring or me not showing you that I'm here, but it's showing the opposite. It's showing how much I do care. And when you're ready, I'm ready. And I left it at that. And it ended up being like the best thing I think I could have done as a man in that position. But it was hard, right? Because she's my everything. I don't care. I would kill for her, like she's literally like everything to me. And so being able to not like fix something, I was just like, oh, this sucks. Like, I'm seeing somebody like hurt versus being like, all right, like there's some things you can't fix. Don't be the tool at the time.
Yeah.
Instead, close it up, be there, still encourage her. And when Jimmy and I were talking about this yesterday, he's going through a similar thing. And I just encouraged him because of the growth that I've had, and I was just like, hey, do it in your way, what you think is going to work in your relationship, but use this as a show her you're still there by not constantly hounding. And I think that does bring us back to this topic of being like a man and a masculine man. Like masculine is not bad. Masculine is perceived as bad now. And like you said, it's like a magnet that it attracts all these things. Like being a masculine man in today's worldly view is an egotistical, steroided dude that wants to hook up with all these chicks, right? But what an actual masculine man, if you think of it from a biblical perspective, is Jesus, right? Like being able to, like you said, Hollow, have the power to use, but not always using it. And that's something I think that should be one of our biggest takeaways from this subject and talking about it together is like sometimes being tough and strong and, you know, strong mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all those things requires us to be assertive, to be able to be meek, to be able to know, hey, like I don't need to do this right now. I could, but I don't need to. Why? Like what is this serving? Is it serving a better purpose or is it serving myself? And I think that is something that we should all strive as men to do is be in that position. If you think about like a lot of tough guys, like every tough dude that I'm thinking of in my head right now that I have a personal relationship with are the quietest, nicest dudes on the planet. And they will just piece you up if they have to, you know, but they don't need to.
Jalen.
Yeah, like Jalen. Prime example. Jalen's a freaking one of the toughest guys I know. I would not ever want to tussle with Jalen. And yet he's humble. He's more assertive. He's a little bit more reserved, but so nice.
Yeah.
And that strength that he possesses would never even be like known unless you've seen it. And I think that is what a quote unquote true masculine man is.
Well, it's funny too. I feel like in this culture where we say like, oh, you're just stereotyping this person, yet they could kind of be the first ones to throw that stone at a dude who works out when he could be the nicest person just because he's got gains.
Yeah.
Like, wait, you just stereotype this dude into this one column of who he is.
Because he's jacked.
Because he's jacked.
He might actually be more aligned with what your definition.
Yeah, I know. You guys
on your side
could be best friends, but the guy's got good genes. I don't mean, you can't say that now. That's not allowed.
Oh man,
whole nother topic.
Is freaking funny.
But you know, it's like, yeah, it's just that's
genes.
just how he was built.
Yeah,
you know, I walked in a Hidden House the other day, and you know, you guys have a new barista, and he's like 6'2", and I looked at Jordan. I was like, "Look at you guys have someone who's over 6 feet tall," and he was like, "Hey," I'm like,
yeah, that's messed up. That's me too. What the heck?
I was like, "No, we're like all of us. We're not 6 feet. Ben's 6 feet when he wears boots."
Yeah,
that is true.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm like 5'11" without them.
bro, I'm not even close. I ain't touching any of that.
I'm gonna start wearing boots 24/7. Oh man.
But yeah, you could just lump it in and say
Yeah.
like it's really funny on the stereotype thing, but
Yeah. I think I want to ask this. I mean, we've all basically said it, but if we each had to take like a 30-second to minute summary, I think that would be beneficial. But what do we each in this room perceive as the toxic? I know we've said it all, but if you had to like summarize it, toxic masculinity versus just being a man. And what it means to be each one of those. And if you could give some advice if you're maybe leaning on this toxic side, but you're wanting to be better, like how can we bridge the gap for some of these guys that might be in that situation? Or I don't even like the word toxic. You could be stuck in an older way of thinking of like the man only does this. I actually hate that when I hear or I see on social media or I hear like a spouse say like, oh yeah, my wife's the only one that does the laundry. Like that's her job. And I'm like, fuck, like what? Like that's her job? Like, bro, I'm about to slap you upside your head. Like I'm not saying you don't have jobs assigned in the household because we do, but if you're using it as a mentality of no, the woman does that or she does that because I'm the one doing this. One, I think you should probably take a look at yourself and how you're perceiving things because at least the way I perceive my marriage is we're a freaking team and there's going to be times we each are intertwining and doing quote unquote each other's jobs. But if you're stuck in that mindset of like, no, that's her job or her job is to raise our kids. It's like, well, my wife has chosen currently to be a stay-at-home mom in order to raise our children. But that doesn't mean it's her job. It's her job to be a mother to our children, to raise these children, but it's also my job. And it's also my responsibility to jump in and help with that. It doesn't mean it's just her freaking job.
yeah.
And I know that us in this room, we align on those things, but there's a lot of guys out there that might not align that. And they think that it is their job because they're the ones making the money or whatever. You know what I mean? I kind of just rambled, but you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's like I mean, I'll go first. I think there's there's a far side one way, a far side another way, and then there's the middle is what we try to aim for. And I feel like there's a lot of that in every aspect of life. You know, like when it comes to, you know, like toxic masculinity. So my wife and I ask her all the time. We have like a little checklist. I did a post about this the other day. We'll sit down together and be like, hey, how do we feel like we're doing financially? How do we feel like we're doing spiritually? How do you feel like you're doing physically? How do you feel like we're doing relationship wise? And I feel like there's you can do that with toxic masculinity too, where it's like, you know, one side is, you know, hey, I control everything. I dictate what my house does and you just blindly follow. The other side is I don't want to rock the boat. My wife, you know, I don't want to upset my wife. So I'm just not gonna do anything. And then there's that middle road where it's knowing when there's times to step in and there's times to, you know, there's times to lead, there's times to follow, and then there's times to just, you know, we'll work it out day by day. So I guess for me, you know, a toxic man is just not going to take responsibility. It's an immature male. You know, you're not taking responsibility for your own actions. You're not taking responsibility for the actions of your family. You're not taking responsibility for, or you're taking over responsibility for your household, where you're like, hey, this is my way or the highway, and get the hell out if you don't agree with me. You know, and then on the flip side, there's the other side that goes, I'm not ever going to press my wife for anything that I need. I'm never going to press my wife for help with anything because I don't want to bother her. You know, I'm just going to take on the blame for everything that's going wrong and just say that it's all my fault so that we just get past this without conflict. So I think what we really need to strive for is that middle of the road where it's, hey, you're taking responsibility for yourself, your family, and how everything happens. Like, ultimately, the buck stops with me and my household. Like, I do believe that. Like, ultimately, the buck stops with me, but my wife and I are equal partners in everything. So everything is going to be very nuanced. I totally got off track of where I was going to go with this, but
middling it.
Yeah, but we're just, my example, because we're biblical based, is obviously Jesus, but Jesus was perfect. And sometimes striving for perfection is awesome, but knowing that I'm not going to hit it can feel a little daunting to me. You know, that's what I tell Caitlin this all the time. She's like, remember, you're not perfect. I was like, no, but if I strive for perfection, I can at least get close, which is better than not caring at all. But I also look at David and the way that David was in the Bible. That dude messed up constantly, but he had, he murdered people, but he immediately went and owned up to it. I mean, once he was called out, but he owned up to it, and he was known after a man after God's own heart. You know, he was the definition of a warrior. Like, you don't just collect foreskins for no reason.
What's a foreskin?
I don't.
I'm sorry.
Something apparently has to be. No, just kidding. You know, he was a bad dude, but at the same time, he was writing poetry in a field with lambs, and he loved his best friend Jonathan so much that he would sit and weep with him, and he was like, I love you more than a brother. Like, and he was this dichotomy of two different, like, you would be like, if you looked at him, you'd be like, that dude didn't really exist, because you're not this nurturing and you're not this, like, in today's society, you would say there's no way that you could be the baddest of the bad warrior, SEAL Team 6, Dev Gru, you know, gnarly guy, and then be soft, and then be that soft and weeping. Like, they're like, there's just no way. And it's like, yeah, there is. And it's called right here in the middle. And it's like, and that's kind of where I try to live my life. Not lukewarm, but intentionally, like, I know what this is, and I can be there. And I know what this is, and I can be there. And I'm choosing to meet it here.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, if Tim, you know, if I need to dial it up because there's someone in the parking lot that I don't want near my family, I'm going to step in front of them. I'm going to push them towards the car, and I am going to, you know, get ready to take on whatever needs to be taken on.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm going to go home and write a kid's book for my kids because I love them. Or I'm going to, you know, I've been telling my daughter lately, when she's been acting up, I'm like, what's going on? Do you just need like snuggles? Like just tell dad if you need snuggles. Like I'm trying to teach my son that when he wants to get his aggression out, let's go box in the garage. Like he can punch me with his boxing gloves on as much as he wants. And then 5 minutes later, he's snuggling with his mom, and I'll come over and I'll just hold him and kiss him and love him and be like, let's be both of these guys, because that's what we can be.
Yeah.
So I think there's I want to hit that middle ground.
That's great.
So that was the definition for me.
Yeah. I think it's always learning. And like you said, it's always adapting. And we can put ourselves in a box of this is what it means, instead of realizing that it is in a sense, masculinity is a living organism within us that's constantly changing, where, like you said, you have to step out sometimes and be that man where you puff your chest. That's not a bad thing if you're protecting your family.
Yeah.
But then there's other times where you're just a snuggle bug and you're just holding your kid when they cry. And you're having those highs of proud moments as a father and lows where you failed, and it's constantly changing. And I know we kind of speak through us three through the lens of the Bible, but showing grace, I think that's the best thing as a person. You could realize we're all in the same boat. We're all learning. We're all going to fail. And you can't just, if something's toxic, you don't stick with it. Like if someone gave me a piece of sushi, going back to sushi, like, hey, just let you know, there's a little toxic in there. Like, we got this one out of Fukushima. The fish is okay. It had 3 eyes. It's like, you're not going to even touch that. And I feel like that's kind of what we do now, is like, oh, he had one trait, therefore let's throw out the whole thing.
Yeah.
But you don't do that. And that's what separates us from animals and humans, is we have this soul. We have this thing that's constantly changing. We can learn, we can adapt, we can be like David, who killed Goliath with a few stones, but then who wrote these beautiful Psalms, and then had the best friend that he wasn't ashamed to cry with, but then manned up and had his mighty men, and they went and conquered towns. It's like, it's constantly changing. And I feel like that's the thing about the definition. It's not just a set definition, and that's what we're kind of being told. It is, hey, if you're strong, if you have leadership qualities, that's bad. And it's like, no, this is always changing, and we just kind of have to tack into certain things at certain times in our life. And I think us as men, we need to put a new turn on what masculinity means, and show the world, like, hey, like, masculinity is not bad. In the same way, being a woman's not bad, being a man's not bad. And it's really tough. And like you said, you're kind of afraid to say things now, but I feel like that's what we need to do with our generation, is stand up and show, like, well, I could say this and know that because I'm living it, I have some backing to it. And that happened actually at your shop the other day. Something came up and I kind of said my point of view, and it was actually treated with respect, because they're like, oh, I know who you are as a person.
Yeah.
So I'm not just going to blanket you with the rest. And it was really cool, because I was like, okay, see, this person actually took the time to listen, and they know who I am as a person. So they didn't automatically say, oh, well, you fall into this now.
Yeah.
And I think it's slowly adapting. And again, that meekness, showing that power under control. I didn't just come in and start, blaring off with facts and saying this and raising my voice. It's like we could all just be in this together and grow and change. So
My dad used to say all the time that the biggest testimony you have is the way you live your life.
For sure.
And like that's you can take that the biblical sense, that's how he meant it. But if, let's say, you're not Bible based, think of it just like
A literal sense.
the literal sense. Like Adam Free said, does your video match your audio?
Yeah.
Like if people will respect what you're saying, if the video of your life matches what you're saying.
Yeah.
Wow,
If you
that's
listen
good.
to his episode, now that you said it, I'm going to clarify something. I think you'll agree with me. He did say right before that your children don't care what you say. I will have to disagree with him. I think they highly care what we say. But his point in saying that was to
Right.
show the actions.
Right.
So I don't want people to get it twisted, but I would have never brought that up until you said that.
No,
But
I think that's how he meant. I think that's how he meant it.
he for
too.
sure meant
Yeah.
it. But if you listen to that and you're a literal person,
Yeah.
he did not mean your kids don't care what you say. Your
Yeah.
kids care what you say, but they are watching constantly. And if your video is not matching your audio, then you're just a hypocrite, and then no one's going to listen to you. But it is very important as a father and in your home to watch what you say, to mind like genuinely what comes out of your mouth, whether it's a joke to a friend, a wife, your child, like whatever it is. Like your kids do listen to every little thing we say, but they also watch every little thing we do. A lot of things are watched and not heard. And I just wanted to clarify that for all of us.
I think they hear what you say, but they won't necessarily respect what you say unless your video matches your audio.
Yeah.
And maybe that's taking it even a little too far, but I feel like that's a good rule. Cause like they'll, if you say that I love you, but your actions don't match that, after a while, they're going to be conditioned to think that's not really what you feel.
That love is now just a transactional. I say it when you say it.
For a reason, but if your video matches your audio, then it's what you say is respected.
Mm-hmm. I love those definitions though, guys, because it's I think it is needed. And I don't think we know it's needed. We know that from what we're doing in this room and just how we're all trying to live our lives and all the spheres of influence that we all have, needing good men is so much more valued to myself now than it would have ever been before any of this. I've always tried to, as a husband and father, tried to live my life like in a good way where they'll be proud. Mm-hmm. But until we started doing this, I didn't realize the weight of all of it. Mm-hmm. Not just how I am in my home, but how we are with our friends, with our family, with our coworkers, with everything that we're doing. The weight of that is I think immeasurable. And these definitions that these guys gave are just another example of what we're trying to do as being good dudes and good dads. And I think ultimately a marriage of both of what you guys just said is shooting for the middle, where you could be tough, but you can also be soft, for lack of better terms, tough and soft together and meet in the middle. And then with Hollow marrying the ability to evolve in that to your situations and to circumstances, to not put a definition that's permanent, set in stone, but to have a definition of a man, a trait of a man that is constantly changing and flowing is, I think, the most valuable thing we can all do as men is marry everything we just said together, but be willing to have the grace to yourself to be able to understand, like, you're going to miss the mark. It is impossible not to, right? We're going to miss the mark, but to continuously try and to adapt and to learn and to own when we do miss the mark is what these definitions stand for.
Yeah, it's awesome. That was a great summary. I think I would encourage, if you're listening, to write out the type of man that you would want to be. Like, sit down and write out some characteristics of the man that if you could be the ultimate man that you wanted to be, write those out. And then give yourself an honest assessment of where you're at in those. And then from there, just try to do little things daily to head towards that direction. It's not going to be an overnight thing.
I feel like that'd be a fun challenge that we should create.
I think it'd be fun. I think I also want to put together for us a PDF of what we think a man should be.
Yeah.
I think you want to take masculinity.
So I do too. Like, the more we've said it, I'm like,
just like character traits of a good man.
Yeah.
And then we'll throw that as we'll create a PDF for that. And then what we'll do is we'll when I have that done, we'll put it on our story, and you guys can shoot us an email or DM us, and we'll send that over.
I think it'd be a dope challenge to do together, though, collectively. Like, get a group of guys that are trying to figure out how to be a better dude, and kind of just do it through that lens of accountability. Because it doesn't matter if you're sitting in your closet or your kitchen table or your office or your gym or your car. Like, there's something about doing it together, because I can sit there and write these things all day long, but if no one's holding me accountable to them, like, they're just there. Yeah. There's no weight to it, versus like when I go in front of one of you guys and something comes up, like, I'm like, oh shoot, like, these dudes, they know I can't hide. Like, there's nowhere for me to go except to face it. But I think that would be really fun.
Yeah, I think for the person who kind of holds that back too, at Saturday's event, the men's breakfast at your church, he had mentioned, like, when there's a bunch of dudes in the room, when the first one speaks up, it kind of gives permission for everybody to collectively, like, okay, us as dudes, we're like that. Like no one wants to be the first. It's always the most awkward thing. And then the first dude goes, and we're like, all right, I could do this.
Yeah,
and I
that
feel
guy
like
went,
when you have that camaraderie and that brotherhood, growth happens.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
let's do it. Let's start this challenge.
Awesome. Well, Mr. Hollow, thank you.
Thank
Of
you.
course. Anytime. You know where I live.
The dads part 2.
Sorry, George.
Sorry, George.
I'm kidding. Mr. Jordan,
Ben,
thanks, brother.
Thank you. Hollow, thank you. Go check out Lightning Rounds. Check out Hollow and Grace Instagram. I'll link that down below.
It's just Hollow and Grace, right?
That's
I think
it.
it's Hollow and Grace. His wife runs it. He doesn't have any social media presence.
At all.
I
don't know what's
honestly,
going on.
I strive to be you one day. I honestly, as soon
When
as
you
we can
grow up.
pay someone to take, as soon as we can pay someone to take over our social media, I can't wait because I just want to. I'm over it, but just social media as a whole. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. We'll link everything down below. Thank you to BioPro, Road, Hidden House Coffee, and our other partners that I'm drawing a blank on. But remember, be a good dude, be a good dad.